Hi, welcome back to my channel, and I just wanted to introduce a little guest of honor here for the first part of the layout or the reading today. If you're new here, my name is Cynthia, welcome, and this is my little green sheep conure, Stevie. He is about 12 years old, and I adopted him from the Oregon Humane Society about 10 years ago now. He's a pistol. He is very, very social. He's very shrewd and smart and discerning and loyal and devoted. He can be a little tyrannical, like birds can be, birds hookbill that are living in captivity. He has very strong feelings about who is in here and who's in my life and who's close to me. He's extremely competitive with my cat. My cat would love to be friends with him, but he is having none of it. And I adore him, and when I try to do readings with him, if he's in his little cage home uncovered, he just shrieks the whole time because he wants to be a part of it. But I can't have him be out here for the whole reading, or he'll poop in our little space, which I don't want to have happen. It's too distracting. Aside from that too, I just would like to acknowledge the fact that for me personally, having a captive bird was a big debate. I didn't know if I believed in birds living in captivity, especially hookbills like him. They're so smart and intelligent, and they really have a lot of needs. And any animal too, you got to recognize the power dynamics if you have an animal as a pet, in my opinion. And it's been a big learning experience for me, and he's taught me a lot about how to put my needs aside so that I can help keep him happy as possible, living alone with me. I'm his mate, according to him, so he doesn't have a mate. And birds mate for life, many, including little conures like him. So I've even had to debate things like, would I ever get him a mate? Because they're so long-lived that I don't really know if I want to have another bird in captivity for him. So I've really tried to do my best to live up to being his mate. It's a challenge at times. And it's been a very humbling and amazing experience for me. And I probably won't have another captive bird as a pet once his little life is over. See, he just pooped on the table. So I'll have to pause the reading and clean that up before I get started. But I just wanted to introduce him because he's often making a little bit of a ruckus in the background. Even if he's not shrieking, I adore him, I love him, I feel very privileged to share my life with him. I adopted him because I definitely don't believe in supporting taking birds out of the wild and turning them into pets, and so that's why I adopted him. But, that's debatable about whether I should even, what am I exercising in my own self to have a captive bird, right? I think about that every day, especially if he's, like right now is mating season, and he's really trying to nest and find his mate and get me to do what I need to be doing in order to build our nest. And it's frustrating for him that he can't live that out in a natural way, right? So I just want to acknowledge that. He's a little ambassador to me. I'm very grateful for the role that he's had in my life. I think he was kept by the person that bred him because he was born with little deformed feet, so he couldn't be sold as a pet bird. And so I think the breeder kept him, and then his story is that she went into an assisted living and he had to go up for adoption. So I got him when he was 2. And they can live to be anywhere from 20 to 40 years old. There's a lot of risks to a small guy like him in a home setting, things that could inadvertently harm him and kill him. So I also have to be very, very vigilant. I don't clip his wings because I don't believe in that, but that means an increased responsibility for me to keep him from escaping and absconding and getting out into the wild where he can't survive here. So I have to kind of try to find ways to help him feel connected to the outdoors and have a happy and fulfilled life. So I just wanted to introduce him. This is Stevie. His full name is Stevie Pretty Feathers. Sometimes I call him Stephen Vogel, which is my last name. So I'll be right back now. I just need to get us ready. Okay. Thank you for letting me show off my dear friend and animal chill out companion, although sometimes he's not so chill if I'm being honest, but I adore him. And now I'm just going to get into some cards with us today for fun. I just posted a Kitchen Magic upload for making maple flower fritters that I really threw together. It's not work that I would typically be doing so hastily and kind of thrown together without more careful process, but sometimes when plants are about to go out of their season, you have to kind of get quick and moving, and that's sort of what happened to me there. So it's nice work if you're interested in that kind of thing. Hope everybody's enjoying life, or at least coping, right? If you can't find the enjoyment right now. I wanted to show off my little tote bag here too that I keep some of my cards in. You Can't Control Art. This is a tote bag I got back in the day from Don't Shoot Portland. I have another one of theirs too, and some other art. They're big into archival work and art making and involving the community and making art. And I love sporting those tote bags around. I feel proud of those. Not that I had anything to do with their creation. I just like showing them off. Let's get a general layout for us. What's happening in our worlds? What's happening in our lives? What do we have to look forward to? Anything we should be concerned with or watch out for or know about? If you watch other card readers, there's been a lot of discussion lately about feeling kind of, a lot of people like us going through similar experiences of feeling really attacked by someone in their lives or a group in their lives. I went through it kind of recently. I know other folks that have kind of been going through it, and people are reading on it. Various card readers are actually reading about it and picking up on it. So we'll see if anything like that comes up here in this reading. I try to keep it, you know, away from scandalous type stuff, but scandal is real. I mean, you know, we all have to deal with folks in the world who practice in a scandalous way. So they're gonna come out in the cards. These types of things. Open to any kinds of messages that are important for someone to hear. Gosh, again, so this is a totally different deck than the ones I've been using lately. Sorry, I'm attending to my appearance there for a second. So at the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Wands. This card has been coming out like crazy lately, no matter what deck I use. So there's a lot of us, like I just said, who may be feeling like we're having to stand our ground in some way or defend ourselves or are feeling under attack for some reason, right? That's the card at the bottom of the deck. I'm using B. Nettles' deck. She is a paper and printmaking artist, an archival worker as well. She does bookmaking, and she designed this deck back in the 70s or 80s. This is a copy. This is not one of the originals, which are quite valuable, but I like working with her deck because I'm also a printmaker, so it kind of makes me feel like I'm working with someone in a kinship type way when I use this deck. I also got to see her speak once in my printmaking class and speak a little bit about this deck. And I never forgot it, and then remembered not long ago when I started this channel, I wanted to use her deck. So anyways, just want to honor women artists and B. Nettles' work here with her tarot deck. So the cornerstone here is the Page of Pentacles. So we might be feeling like we're just getting some things off the ground and we're finally seeing some tangible results of our hard work coming to life. Like we're actually seeing like, oh, I've been doing a lot of work outside to make my outdoor soaking area feel like it has some privacy. I have a little outdoor soaking area where I can help folks with like an herbal or a cleansing bath if they want to do that kind of spiritual work. But it's not all the way done. It needs to be set up a little bit better. So you may be just starting to see the fruits of some work, or somebody may be making a gesture or an offer towards you at this time. We'll find out more. What you're sensing and what you're knowing is that you feel very blocked. Something feels very blocked, and that you've had no choice but to kind of surrender and try to get some hold over your own thoughts and your own mind. Like if you're feeling trapped or imprisoned or blocked in some ways, there's then the second layer of the prison of your own mind, right? If you're not careful. And it's looking to me like you feel very trapped in your own thoughts and trapped in your movement forward. So I have the sense here that this may be that you are on the verge of seeing some material things come to life, but presently you're not experiencing it yet, and you're having to be... I don't typically read reversals, but this Page of Pentacles came in the reverse, and as I'm looking at it next to these two cards, I'm seeing that that's how it should be looked at, that this is a feeling of not seeing any progress yet for yourself, and you're feeling a little bit frustrated. The facts are that you're doing a good job of subliminating the parts of you that want to just charge forward blindly because you're so frustrated. You're working very hard to avoid doing that. You're trying to maintain some sense of awareness that I'm not the one in control here, and if I just start lashing out blindly, I could cause problems and make things worse. You seem aware of that. And those are the facts. And this is the strongest card here in the sort of foundational energy that you're in, is this awareness that you need to get things kind of in a place where you're feeling like you're in control of yourself or your reactions or how you show up to deal with these conflicts and feeling blocked, right? A caged animal might do something like lash out and bite and attack and cause, you know, and then cause injury to themselves. For example, I'm thinking of jaguars in Belize when they are having to trap or move or relocate a jaguar for whatever reason. They learned in the early days when they were setting up the national parks that they really can't do that with those cats, because the cat is so wild and so traumatized by having the experience of being contained in that way that it just one really irreparably harmed itself when they were in the process of doing that. So this is that kind of energy. Like, you've recognized, I can't be losing my shit here or I'm going to cause more harm to myself. So that's a great kind of jolt of insight for somebody there. The vulnerability is that you're having trouble seeing what is right and wrong and what's clear and not clear, and who's for you and who's against you, or who's supporting you and who's abandoned you. Things seem very confusing to you right now, and you are aware somewhat that you don't really have a sense of what's going on. You might feel like you don't have your emotional feet on the ground and you're just trying to hang on because you don't know what's going on. You don't have a feeling of clarity. There's a quality of illusion around. You may be also feeling some kind of negative aspects of the feminine pole, which can be dark, tricky, manipulative. That's in an unhealthy aspect of the feminine polarity, right? So there could be something like that in play. At the very center of the reading is the Emperor. So you are struggling to come into a sense of sovereignty and mastery. Like I said, you've been feeling blocked. You're kind of feeling like, why am I feeling blocked? I'm a ruler, I'm a king, I'm sovereign, I'm powerful. Why is this, right? Like that jaguar again. Like a jaguar is not accustomed to having a sense of powerlessness. Like a jaguar is an apex predator. So a jaguar to suddenly find itself tranquilized, waking up in a small contained space, it was way too out of its framework to have any sense of what's happening to it, right? So, and that's what I feel like is happening right here. I'm almost seeing it in the cards. Like you feel very confused and fearful a little bit and trapped and unsure about what is going on. So you're really trying to maintain your calm. Like I could see feeling like this. Sometimes I have a experience of having night terrors. I've had them since I was little and went through some traumas as a child. I started having night terrors. Usually I don't remember what the dream is. I just wake up screaming. But every so often I'll remember a little piece of it. This is all tying into this energy, so just bear with me. This is really powerful energy that's coming through here, and I can feel myself. A lot of it is kind of channeling someone's experience right now. I can feel your kind of fury and determination and questioning and attempts to rein yourself in a little bit and get control because you don't want to further harm the situation. I'm really feeling that strongly, that you're feeling trapped or hemmed in on all sides. You're not sure what's real. So one time that I remembered what my dream was, because I've learned over the years that a trigger for me having a night terror is falling asleep in a pitch black room in an unfamiliar place. I don't know why that is, but it's a big trigger for me to have a night terror nightmare. And it almost happens, it's almost like clockwork. If I go to sleep and lay my head down somewhere that I'm not used to sleeping and it's pitch black when I fall asleep, it's almost like a guarantee that I'll have a night terror. They're not fun, but luckily I don't have them all the time. So waking up to one time, the experience I was having right before I woke up was that I was being twisted up in like a layer of something, like blankets or sheets or the walls. Like I'm thinking again of Star Wars, and today is May the 4th. Star Wars came out in my last Obsidian Mirror scrying session, so that's kind of cool and interesting. When they're all in that little locked room and the walls start closing in, it's like a trash compactor, and they're losing it and freaking out and having to keep their wits about them so that they can free themselves. Otherwise, they're all doomed, right? It's this kind of thing. So I woke up to being twisted and compressed and controlled and smothered is what it felt like in that nightmare. It was one of the few times I got to see what it actually was that I was experiencing before I woke up screaming. I really feel you in this energy. So I'm hoping that we're going to find you some comforting messages. I see some coming here, so just hang on. I'm hoping whoever kind of needed this reading is hearing it. Your strength even though you are not sure what's going on right now, you want and are ready for a new start, and you have an awareness that this is all happening by some design, some grander design. Like this Tetractus is a grander design showing me the history of my own reality being twisted in a blocked web. It's all sort of showing up beautifully in this as I kind of feel you or feel your energy. So you are ready, you are down, you're excited, you want to break free. Like me waking up from the nightmare of like, screaming and waking myself up and realizing after I can get a light turned on and it's no longer pitch black, I'm not being twisted and compressed. I'm actually okay. I woke up from the nightmare. I'm safe. I'm recollecting myself. This is coming through. You know that you're about to break free. You're down, you're ready for the new start, you're ready for what's beyond this trapped experience. You're creating the new, you're making it happen, but you feel very blocked. You're being strong about it though. This is a strength, right? Okay, that was a lot. Your vulnerability, or the kind of shadow messages for you that is coming in from your shadow side, is a judgment day. It's very terrifying. What's happening to you is really, really scaring your shadow, the shadow within you. And that might be why you're trying so hard to get yourself under control, because we all kind of know when we're in our higher wise mind or faculties that our shadow aspects of self can get us to do some really crazy things. This can be stuff like crimes of passion, where normally a pretty even-keeled person might get pushed so far beyond that they have a crime of passion. That's why there's even a legal category for it. So you are aware that, you may not be aware, but your shadow is freaking the fuck out, and you've been pretty aware that you need to try to keep things under control, including your shadow's fears and angers and whatever. You're aware that there's a judgment day coming. Your shadow's kind of losing it over it. Your sort of darker aspects of yourself are freaked out, maybe telling you at times to resort to some extremes to get this resolved. You're really trying not to do that. Your strength is the 9 of Cups. You're aware that there's some joy coming for you. You also may have some healthy forms of escape right now that are not necessarily refusing to do your work, but they're giving you a little bit of an escape valve, like something for pleasure that's at least helping you cope. Even if it doesn't feel like it's advancing things for you, it's at least something that can bring you some joy or some sense of hope and optimism, even in the midst of feeling trapped. I could see this being something like in Stephen King's book, the one where they're on death row, and there's a prisoner that has that kind of, he's kind of a warlock. He has that capacity to tap into like the power of nature, essentially. Like he harnesses bees and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm not thinking of the name of the movie right now, but one of the prisoners in that book on death row, even though he's in one of the kind of darkest or most bleak places you could be as a person, on death row, knowing you're going to be put to death, he finds a little relationship with this mouse, right? This could be something like that, that even though you're in one of the darkest, scariest times where it's taking everything you have to get safely through it, there's a little escape valve that you have that's bringing you joy, and it's being reflected here. The way things are going is the Ten of Pentacles. So hang on, there's about to be some material and physical security and abundance coming for you, which is great news after a time like this, where everything might have felt blocked and like the dam's about to burst. Boom, when the dam bursts, because you've maintained your control, the dam is going to burst in a positive way for you with a bunch of abundance. This is really speaking to the fact of why spiritual discipline is so important, because when you can achieve it, it's not for everyone. It's a very difficult path, but when you can achieve this level of spiritual, mental, emotional, physical discipline, the reward is this kind of an abundance. And just know it's coming for you. The fact that you've been willing to take the harder road of subliminating your darker impulses and going within and hanging on and maintaining your own integrity, even though things maybe even seem like a complete shit show or that are blocking you in all areas. This little escape valve of joy, just hang on to that, because what's coming is this Ten of Pentacles. It's great. This is a great reading for someone. I'm really excited, actually. There's a lot of flowing, powerful energy coming through it as well. What are some good animal energies to emulate that can help you navigate all of this? You're being pretty strong and taming your inner lion to get through this so that the lion doesn't go crazy on everyone, right? Like that keeps coming through, and it's not the lion but a jaguar, right? Like that, those jaguars in Belize could not mentally tolerate being contained in those little cages, and they harmed themselves irreparably. And it happened like 2 or 3 times, and so wildlife experts finally were like, I guess this isn't going to work. We need to figure out a different way to manage this national park and these jaguars, right? This isn't okay. What's happening? Our approach is all wrong for these wild cats. Animal energy for you. Rat. Being shrewd. You feel restless, but you're trying to be shrewd and adaptable and resourceful and survive. That's right. And tap into your sense of adventure with this Fool card. Self-assuredness and cleverness. So while you're in a blocked period, by the fact of that you've really tried to maintain your integrity and your control over yourself, you're going to be gaining self-assuredness and cleverness, which is great. Rat energy is good to emulate here. Snake. Wow, that's wild and really interesting and cool too, because a snake is a predator of a rat, and so super interesting. So you can also kind of rise above the rat race here if you're continuing to do this work and this Tetractys layout towards this Ten of Pentacles. You're gonna sort of like transmute the sort of baser stuff that the rest of the morass gets stuck in, right? You're gonna rise above it, level up, as they say, towards this Ten of Pentacles, through transforming, through concentrating, through being self-aware, cool, calm, and collected, instinct and preparedness, being diplomatic, and in analyzing yourself. So really being wise as the serpent and gentle as the dove, that kind of energy of self-discipline. That's incredible. I love this layout. I'm super into this layout. I could keep going, I feel. Dog. This is sweet. Guardianship, protection, companionship, loyalty, faithfulness, caution, stubbornness, sincerity, bravery, and diligence. I'm going to share a story here because I have a personal, one of my loved ones is dying, and he was a huge part of my childhood. He was my uncle, is my uncle. He may have actually passed. He's been within the really end days of his life. And he has no living family. Me and a couple other people through marriage are it. He really has no one. He's a complex man. He was a mathematician. He majored in math. He got his master's degree in mathematics, and he went into the tech industry and was really in the early days of computers and did very well for himself. And he married my aunt, who was an oil painter. And they never had children. They were very adventurous. They were always hitting the slopes, going to the river. He was a windsurfer. He was one of the early windsurfers in the Columbia River Gorge. And all of my kind of adventurous willingness to go out into nature, like hiking, camping, swimming, windsurfing, skiing, the stuff that takes a little bit of courage, that's not just like going on a nature walk, all of that came from him for me. He was really adventurous. He almost had no fear, like one of those people that just wasn't afraid of anything. And he used to get really frustrated when the people around him wanted to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Me included as a kid, he could really push too hard at times. And I've learned over time that he and my aunt were just a breed of their own. They were kind of cut from the same cloth. They really felt like it was them against the world. And they pushed the rest of the family away, and me included, and it really hurt because I was very bonded to them growing up. I didn't have a mom. My dad was gone all the time, so I spent a lot of time with them, having fun in the woods and in nature. What I didn't really realize was that part of what they did to survive and cope was to try to really keep things light, and they have some really complex layers to them that they just drove everyone away, and it really hurt a lot of us in our family. We didn't understand it. I understand it more now that I'm reclusive myself. This is a long-winded story, but I'm feeling like I want to honor my uncle because nobody likes him at this point. He's not a very loved person because he's extremely temperamental. He was rude. He's been accused of narcissism. But and if he is a narcissist, he was classic in that he had that really charming, fun side, right? I don't know, one way or the other, I don't know. But one of my most precious memories with him is that he and my aunt had German Shepherds while I was growing up. And one of their German Shepherds, Radar, was one of my most incredible relationships with an animal growing up. He was smart. He could intuit how in the way that German Shepherds are smart. He could intuit. I taught him games just from playing with him. Puzzles that he would solve that were beyond just like a typical dog, right? And I had all of those experiences because of my Uncle Grant. And if I can find it, I'll share a picture of him because I really want to celebrate him because in the last maybe 20 years of his life, he really was mean. He became a mean person. He hurt a lot of people. He did a lot of really mean-spirited, cruel things to us. I don't know what caused that, if it was some kind of dementia or just his own demons. But even though all of that happened and he hurt so many people so deeply, I have memories with him that I cherish that no one can take away from me and that I'm so grateful for every day, that he and my aunt were some of the only people that brought me fun, light experiences as a child because my family was so surrounded in trauma. They were two of the only people that really brought me a chance to just play and have fun in the woods and be light and keep it light. And, whether that was because they had their own narcissistic demons where they could only stay light, so what? Because for me as a kid, I needed levity and I got it through them. So I want to honor them and I feel obligated to do that here. So I know this is a lot of me personally storytelling in the beginning and now here, but it's happening for a reason and I'm just learning to trust it. I lost a couple followers the other day and it kind of tripped me out for a second because it's still noticeable. I tripped out and was like, oh my God, I had this feeling like I should change something. And then I was like, no, that's silly. You're not for everyone. That's okay. Not everyone's going to like your readings or vibe with you and your way of going about this. And that's all right. But it's funny how you just have to learn to go with what you're doing. I'm learning to trust that telling part of my story is okay here is just fine. I don't have to worry about whether people are going to like it or not, because it's authentic to me as a reader. The right people for my readings will find me. I just want to thank my Uncle Grant and Radar, their dog. Ritual. So that's something that can help you as you have this little valve that's been helping you cope and bring you senses of joy. This is also going to help you cope. Getting connected to like high priestess ritual and ceremony type energy. Maybe where each night before you go to bed, you cleanse your space with some sacred smoke, or a crystal that you put under your pillow that protects your dream space. That's going to be another way that you can help this energy. Abundance, yeah, this 10 of Pentacles coming. By doing that and by continuing, like, all this abundance, like the pomegranate, these flowers, these, it's a kind of a, reminds me of the version of the High Priestess card that's showing up here and here. By connecting to this part of you, it's bringing the abundance. So don't worry so much. The hard work that you're doing now to sublimate all of this wild energy is gonna, you're just gonna rise above the pack right into this abundant place. It's really beautiful. I hope it's reassuring to you. I'll pull now. La 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 la. What am I gonna pull? I don't really know. I'll pull some of my own cards here to wrap it up. This is my deck. I thought all of the ones I had left had gotten stolen, but I found a little secret stash of 5. So I do have like 5 left, which I'm happy, because the one copy I thought I was the only one I had left, I had spilled coffee on. So I'm glad that I found this little secret stash. What can close out this energy for you? What's helpful for you to know? This is super powerful. I love readings like this that are like way beyond. Get your house in order, cleanse your space, clear out clutter, which we talked about with that High Priestess energy. Having that as a practice, along with this little fun escape valve, is going to help you get through this time and into this new Fool card, 10 of Pentacles, where you're on to the new start with all of your abundance coming, right? Cleansing and getting ready for it, making the room for it, nesting, getting things ready for this newness is a great way to spend your time right now while you're feeling blocked. Attending to the space around you is wonderful advice. Accept, embrace, and love your heartbreak, love your pain. You're already doing that. You're subliminating and trying to be strong through some of your more wild impulses. You're trying to learn how to embrace that and navigate it and get control over it somewhat. Get control over it is the wrong phrasing, but like harness it or channel it in a better way, right? Than just letting it consume you. Medicine of laughter. It's perfect. This is so great. That 9 of Cups. Keep using that escape valve, whatever it is for you. Watching comedies, being with your friends that make you laugh. I just saw this incredible reel the other day. I'm blanking on her name. Her name's Smack, but I think it's Smack. She's a dancer. She posted this thing on Instagram Reels that went viral of her doing the dance of, I think it's a ringnet lorikeet. And it's just brilliant and funny and uplifting and honoring of the bird, and a mating dance, the bird seeing itself in the mirror. It's just really, really cool. And just seeing a little reel like that made my day. Like, it truly did. It reminded me of me and my bird. It was just this nice way to honor this bird. And I don't know, I love stuff like that. So anything that sparks those kinds of emotions in you are going to be really good for you right now while you're feeling permanent or temporarily like you have to stop and wait for some stuff to get going again. That's the advice, is how to handle that energy in the meantime, and it'll help move things along and benefit you. So thank you so much for being here. I'm open to any feedback about how I'm setting this channel up. I've got a lot of playlists. I want to try to make sure not to have too many playlists on one channel where stuff gets lost in the playlists. I don't know. I'm just new to creating on YouTube. So any requests, any comments, I'm kind of in the arena right now of these kinds of readings, love readings. I have Scorpio readings that I'm going to be doing. And I'm doing those mirror scrying sessions. I don't want to try to do too much, but this is just so much fun that it's really sparked my own creativity. And I have a lot of ideas right now. So thank you and take care, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm sending you love and respect.